Hi, I am RAUL ROA ESTILISTA.
Today we are going to learn how to create a bob haircut with a touch of inspiration in a pixie cut. The bob cut is one of the most popular and versatile styles, and the design touch of the pixie cut give it a fresh and modern air. For this, we start with the cut and then the color. It is important to select the hair correctly. We are going to divide the hair into 4 sections. The right side, the back area, the top, and the left side we select in this way so we can work the haircut more precisely and achieve a clean and tidy cut. Before starting the cut, it is important to moisten the hair. This will allow us to have greater control when cutting and achieve a more accurate result. We will start with the back section of the hair, for which it is important to have the head slightly tilted forward to better visualize the desired length. We select our first lock to cut horizontally in the nape area. We take the hair and hold it with our fingers. My hand will be fully adjusted to the scalp, and we cut straight. After cutting, I can see that the hair's birthplace of my client is in this area. It doesn't fit perfectly because there are some swirls. So I'm going to remove the swirls. How do I do it? By cutting, then very short. This procedure is only recommended when such eddies exist. If there aren't, we will simply make a stroke, a straight line. Now we are going to select another wick to cut in the same arrangement horizontally and very thin. The wick must be selected very fine to be able to make correct decisions when cutting. We start cutting in the central part and towards the sides, and we are going to draw a straight line. We work from the center to the sides because it is much easier to maintain balance in the haircut. We select our next wick to cut, following the same pattern. A thin wick. It's important to be able to visualize the stroke made immediately prior. This will help achieve a precise and even cut. And this wick will be cut 1 millimeter longer than the previous one. And we will do the same with all the wicks. What are we going to cut from now on? Let's verify that the cut line is correct. Always checking the wick to make sure the length is even and the cut accurate. We continue selecting wicks to cut horizontally and in the same arrangement. It's important to have in mind that although it is necessary to be standing in front of the section that is going to be cut to achieve a precise haircut, when recording a tutorial video, it is necessary to change the position so that the viewer can better appreciate what I am doing. However, it is important to note that the correct position to cut this kind of cut, it is being in front of the section to be cut. But, in the video, I must take a lateral position to improve visualization. I also support myself with the fingers of my hand to fully adjust the hair and be able to see exactly where I need to cut. Let's remember that we are going to leave the following wicks to be cut 1 millimeter longer than the previous one, and so on until we finish all the back part. This is going to help me, and it is going to serve me so that the hair sits inward naturally. We must adapt the cut to our style. I personally like it is a little longer on the sides and shorter at the back, and we can see that on the rear sides the hair will be a little longer, so that when you connect it is with the laterals. The result of the cut is longer on the sides. As we move up the cut, we are taking strands from each side and we bring them to the center, where they must converge in their length. And if there is one that is longer than the other, so I have to make the correction because it helps me to that each wick to cut I am selecting is very thin, in such a way that if I should make any correction, it will be quite easy for me to do it. You will also be able to see that I am using a haircut comb, which has a design with its first tooth further apart. This helps me to section the wick to cut more cleanly and accurately. And it is not that the comb has lost one of its teeth, as someone wrote to me in a previous comment, but the comb comes that way by design. When the length of the hair allows me, I'm going to hold the hair with my fingers to have more control, and being able to direct the hair to the cutting point, always maintaining control of the length and the balance of the cut every time I cut. After each of the wicks to be cut is selected, I'm going to get my cutting position back, which will always be in front of the section I'm cutting, starting at the center, towards the right side, or to the left side, being very careful not to cut the skin of our fingers. It is better to cut the wick little by little, but with a totally safe cutting line. We lowered our last wick to cut, and we finish the cut in this area. Now we move on to working on the right side. We moisten the entire section to have greater control of the hair. We will select wicks horizontally. We comb the wick, taking it to the back. We cut, guiding ourselves with the structure, which was cut immediately previous, but diagonally, always keeping the front part longer. We select the next wick to cut. We are also going to project it to the back, where we are also going to cut it in the same way. Let's remember to leave the wick a little longer, 1 millimeter longer than the previous one. We select the last wick, and in this case, we also comb it, or we project it towards the back. Where is our cut line? And we cut. We also verify that the inclination is correct, and this inclination will occur when we are working, or we are cutting in the back. We will work on the left back. The side has a height of approximately 4 centimeters, and we are going to cut flush with my fingers, and we will count all the hair. And now I'm going to cut it even shorter. For this, I support myself with the comb, tilt it slightly, about 45 degrees, and it begins to cut from the bottom up until the end of the entire section. As advice, we hold the posterior so that it will not come to me long hair that I should not cut on this side. You could also machine cut this section. If you want, you can do it, it's another option. But I like it better how the hair that is cut with scissors grows, because it grows more aligned to the skull, having a good behavior in its growth in a more natural way. Let's smooth and outline the entire perimeter so that the finish is very subtle and as aesthetically pleasing as possible. We are going to graph the sideburns in a pointed shape. Finally, we are going to work on the upper part. We will continue sectioning wicks to be cut horizontally. We comb the hair very well from the growth area by the side of the fine comb to bring the hair very well to the cutting point, and on each of the sides we follow the projection of the cutting line from short to long. Let's remember that the sides have to be longer at the back. That is why we cannot or should not cut straight. Instead, we're going to create a slight tilt so that the sides are left longer. Also, as a suggestion, it is ideal that the hair is well hydrated and moisturized so that the good achievement of the cut occurs in the best way, because it takes more time to keep wetting the hair constantly and thus improve the displacement of all the hair when cutting. Well, as we can see, my client already has some layers from her previous haircut, and we're not going to touch this area. We are going to leave it at that length that is perfect. But I will define the inclination that we have been projecting. I'm just going to make a little cut so that the stroke is well directed. We're also going to do the same exercise on the left side. There you go. My client has beautiful hair, and it suits her new style very well. We'll do the color in the next video.